Hi, YouTube. Well, occasionally I have a misfire, and when I do, I report those too. Hopefully, so you can benefit and not make the same mistakes I make. So I have a misfire. I need to repair something. When it breaks, I do the logical thing. I go and research. I try and find what appears to be an effective solution. Sometimes I fail to do the obvious, which is to apply what I already know. I fail to critically think. I fail to observe, reason, deduce, and instead I take a shortcut and I listen to somebody else. If I were alone, like Nikola Tesla says, if you want to invent something, be alone. That's when inventive ideas come to you. So if I didn't have the benefit of YouTube and the internet and researching things, I'd be left on my own to come up with my own solution. And a lot of times, that's a much more expedient thing to do than go running off someplace to try and find an answer, or running off and trying to ask somebody else a question and get an answer from them. Because they may know something, and on the other hand, they may not know anything. So, depending upon, who you talk to and what they believe, what they think, etc., that can influence you and take you right off the rails. And that's what happened with the repair I made to the water pick. So I made a video about using this 2mm hose to repair the water pick, and I've since taken that video down. Well, I haven't exactly taken it down. What I did was make it unlisted, so that you can go in the description down below here, show more, gives more description, and get a link to that video and see what I did, so you can see exactly what I did wrong, where my thinking went off track, and what I already knew to be the case. I didn't follow my own intellect, my own knowledge base. I went off and used somebody else's idea. Now, once it was evident that the repair didn't work, here's what happened. The hose ballooned out, and there was no constant pressure being provided to the mouthpiece part. It was just not working. Once that was evident, I did what I knew I should have done in the first place, which is go to the source. I went to Waterpick, looked for replacement parts there. And of course, they have the replacement parts because this is a common problem with their product. This fails periodically over time and needs to be replaced. So they have a replacement part for it, all packaged up, ready to go, easy to install. And here it is, getting installed, no problem. 2 screws, remove the old handle and hose and fitting at the other end. Put the new parts in place. Don't forget that little kind of C washer thing. I don't know what it does, but they provide a new one, so I used the new one, and I used the new screws. And that's it. Back together it went. And now you see what a water pick that's properly configured is capable of doing compared to what it was doing. So, I stand corrected, which is always a good place to be because it means you learned something that you didn't know before. And we can all make this kind of a subtle error as we go along because we're moving quickly, looking for solutions as quick as possible, but sometimes using our own head, the knowledge we already possess, is quicker and obviously from this experience, quite a bit less expensive to just, do what you already know. And the thing is, if you don't know, that's fine. Go to somebody that does versus somebody that obviously doesn't know what they're talking about. There's, an old character in books and movies and radio shows called Sherlock Holmes. And he's quintessential example of observation, inference, deduction. Or what I like to say is observing, reasoning, and taking action based on the observation, the reasoning. We move forward and take action or deduce something to be the case. Detect, we discover, we find. So for those that would like the Sherlock Holmesian explanation of why this little situation didn't work and the water pick solution does work, here we go. The pump in a water pick is a dosing pump. What is a dosing pump? Well, there are all different kinds of pumps. A dosing pump is one that provides a metered jet or metered amount of fluid and goes back, stops, goes back and provides another metered amount of fluid. So it's like little shots of fluid moving through the hose from the pump to its destination. We have multiple examples of this. You're probably driving a car and the car probably has fuel injection, and within the context of that fuel supply system, there is at least one and perhaps more than one dosing pump. And that provides a metered amount of fuel into the piston cylinder area that the spark plug fires, or in a diesel, the compression, the heat of the compression fires the fluid and creates the power that makes your wheels turn and the car go down the road. Another example of a dosing pump is in medicine, in a hospital. People dose. I mean, that's a kind of a good term for it. People need a measured, specific amount of medicine, and so this pump will be set over long periods of time to provide a squirt of medicine every so often in some time interval. And so there's time and the quantity of the material involved in a dosing pump. And they're very practical, very useful. And water pick, being kind of a dental hygiene type product, kind of associated in the medical community, it's not unusual that they would pick a dosing pump to do the job of the fluid flossing or water flossing that the water pick is famous for. So I'm familiar with dosing pumps. I've had a lot of diesel cars. The car I have now has dosing pumps in it. The furnace that I exchanged for the propane furnace that was in the van, the new diesel furnace, it has a dosing pump and provides a little squirt of diesel fuel to provide the heat inside the van. So this is something I'm aware of, acquainted with, have been exposed to, but just went completely out the window. I didn't even consider that until I saw this thing start doing this. And instantly I knew, damn, I went down the wrong road. That isn't the solution. That won't work. it won't work, it'll never work, there's nothing I can do to make it work. I thought, actually, I didn't think, and that was the problem. We're all bombarded with this type of thing constantly. We're being compelled to act on things, on certain information. Some of that information might be accurate, and some of it obviously isn't. And it really doesn't matter, if I take that information and believe that's going to work. In practice, I'll find out very quickly it doesn't work. It's inaccurate. It's wrong. An object lesson. One that I can learn from, hopefully one that you can learn from at much less expense than I learned it. The goal is to make progress. Sometimes we have the benefit of immediate feedback so that we can, stop things, back up, and get back on track so we don't stay derailed too terribly long. Other things don't work out quite as well. But regardless of whether it's a short-lived error or the error seems to get compounded the further down the road we get, the idea here is to stick with what works, what's fundamentally orthodox, and we can look at the universe around us. We can look at everything around us and know some things work, some things don't work, and there are immutable things, immutable laws or axioms or principles or rules that you just cannot violate them and have things turn out well. They balloon and finally they burst. So hopefully as we move along through things, we'll quickly see the error and be able to identify it and move in a direction to correct those things that need correcting. That's what I try and do, is use my own mind to make reasonable choices, decisions, and take measured actions in a particular direction, and then watch, observe, and see how they turn out. If they seem to be working out good, then stick with it. If it doesn't seem to be going so well, reevaluate and make some changes. I hope this video was helpful to you. If you found it helpful, please like it by giving it a thumbs up. If you think it might help somebody else, then please share it with them. If you'd like to get more content like this, then subscribe and ring the bell, and you'll be notified when new content gets posted. Thank you for watching this video and all the videos you might watch on this channel. As always, comment as you see fit. Till the next video, see you later.